Alright, so obviously, as you saw from the title, I'm going to be talking about conspiracy theories in this one. There's really only going to be just two. It's about the ones that I actually think are true, and they just label them as a conspiracy theory. So anyways, I'm only going to be talking about two, which is unfortunate because I did have a third one, and I don't know why I forgot. I've been thinking about making this video for quite some time now, probably a year, if not longer. And basically this whole time I've been trying to remember what my third one was that I believe in. I don't get it, because it's something that I actually, think is real, not conspiracy, so I don't know why I can't remember. It's annoying. The other annoying part is I was thinking about something fairly recently, maybe a month or two ago, and I was just casually thinking about it, and then I was like, holy crap, wait a minute, this is like a conspiracy. I could put this as the third option. And I don't even know if it is a true conspiracy. I felt like it was possibly just something that I was making up, or maybe a very select few individuals have thought of. Obviously, it's not like I'm the only one with the thought. I'm not, what's his name? Newton inventing calculus. Actually, he didn't even do that. He just gets the credit for it. But you know what I mean. But yeah, I didn't write it down, and now I can't remember what that was either, which is annoying. I remember everything about the situation when I was thinking of it, though. I was driving. I was probably a couple minutes away from my house, my apartment. I just left, and I was possibly just on my way to Walmart or something basic like that when I was just thinking about this, like a shower thought, but it was just more like a driving thought, I guess. And now I don't fucking know what it was. I keep trying to think of everything that it could be, but... So that's frustrating. I feel like, the more the topics I could discuss, the better video... I can't really call this a video, but you know what I mean, for lack of a better definition, a better video I could make. But yeah, so I'm just gonna have two. So anyways, let's just get into it. When it comes down to conspiracy theories, I don't really fall into very many of them, hence why I only have two to talk about. But I do like to listen to them, because some of them are just kind of mildly thought-provoking, like, that's a good take. It's stupid, but it's a good take. And some of them are just ridiculous, and it's funny to listen to the ridiculous ones. Like, for example, one of the ones that's ridiculous is the flat earth stuff. Man, those people are so stupid. Like, they say, NASA lies and all this. It's more than just NASA. I mean, the planets have been being described as round since the days of Galileo and all that, back in the 1600s, when they just had telescopes and stuff, not the technology that we have nowadays to actually go into space. So, it's more than just NASA. NASA's not lying. It's fundamentally been engraved that the planets and stuff are round. And that's like, what about the moon? You can clearly tell the moon's round, so we're flat, but the moon's round. But then they come up with excuses for that. Oh, well, the moon's not really there. It's just a projection that they put to create an illusion for us. But then that's just dumb, too. Why would they be projecting a moon? What, so we can have something in the sky? You got the sun in the sky during the day, so, we'll just make something for at night. It's dumb. And then they also talk about, the boats, or, I don't know, something with the water they always try to do. And they zoom way in, and you can see a boat, and, if there was curvature, you wouldn't see this boat anymore. But it's like you zoomed in only 2 miles. In the grand scheme of the Earth's diameter, which is, what is it? It's something I actually should know. I don't know why I don't, but obviously it's massive. It's like, 100,000 miles or something stupid? Yeah, 2 miles isn't a big enough sample size to be able to see any curvature. Duh, you're still going to see that boat. And they think that proves, look, I can still see it, so it's clearly flat. Or they send some kind of stupid rocket up into space and just take a tiny portion. Look, it's totally flat. Yeah, send the thing up higher. Really get some height going. See more of the Earth, not just a tiny little snippet. You'll see there's some roundature going on. Ugh. The best one, though, is actually part of this video. I forgot who made it, but it's on Trigger Trow. He's making fun of the flat earthers, and he took some video footage of them at a flat earth convention, and one of the guy's arguments was something about how toilets flush in Australia. If the earth was round, the water would go the other way or something like that, and that's not the case. Toilets flush the same way. And it's like, wow, that's a solid argument right there. At the end of the day, the water going down the toilet has nothing to do with the way that the earth is, if it's round or flat, which way it's spinning or anything. It has to do with how the water is coming out of the toilet. At least that's what I would think. So when it has that spiral, it's because the water is positioned to go spirally. You know what I mean? The way that I don't want to call them jets, but where the water comes out, maybe it's at an angle. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Could be an idiot, but that's the way I see it. So that's why no matter where you are, the water goes the same way because the toilets are designed the same way for everywhere. The toilets are just universal. Like, so anyways, it's funny to listen to them. I actually follow some accounts on TikTok and Twitter and stuff, not because I buy any of their nonsense. They're psychotic and dumb, but it's just funny to see what they think and just laugh at it. Then there's the other one, like with Sandy Hook. See, that one was semi believable when, like, Alex Jones. I mean, obviously Alex Jones goes way out of control with what he says, but it's like that one's semi believable to a small degree. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying you can pitch the case that, maybe, because like there is a lot of evidence that's suspicious. During that time, that's when Obama, they still are, but Obama was trying to push gun control. So, do a big massacre at a school, and then it makes the case easier. Guns are bad. Make a propaganda push. The other thing was with like the families. There was an interview that you saw where like the supposed parents, they're just like laughing together when the camera's off, and then they tell them, we're gonna go on air in 30 seconds or whatever. So then like one of the guys stops and he's doing like these breathing exercises that the actors use to get themselves into a somber state, so if they have like a crying scene or whatever, and that's what this guy's doing. And then he starts getting a little weepy, and they're like, that is so fake in acting. Like, if your child was actually slain in a act like this while they're at school, first off, you wouldn't be joking around with the other parents. You'd probably, I know for me, I wouldn't want to be bothered. I'd be like, look, I'm just here just because I'm kind of part of this, but leave me the fuck alone. And then like I wouldn't need to do some exercises to get me in the mindset to be sad. Just being at the school, well, actually I don't know if they were at the school. I was gonna say, being at the school would just make me sad, just thinking that that's where my kid was, and now she can't be anymore. But no, I don't think they're at the school. They're probably at like the town hall or something. But still, you don't have to work on being sad after a situation like that. So that kind of was like, that's weird and suspicious. But I'm sure there's things to explain that. Like, yes, it just happened to be that somebody pulled some nonsense like that while Obama's pushing for, gun control. So that just worked out in his favor that, see, this is what this is what I've been talking about. And that's a terrible Obama impression. But, and like maybe those parents were actors just because the real parents were too distraught to come out and actually do a presser like this. So they just hired some people, and maybe they talked to the actual parents so they could get information on the child and then just pass it off as it's their child. My son, my daughter, even though it's actually somebody else's, that they're just posing as that person. You know what I mean? Like, that could be all it actually was, but then these conspiracy theorists jump on it, and it's like, because I just think there's way too much to try to do something like that anyways. Like, you'd have to have the whole entire town be hush about that it's fake, and then you have to have the whole surrounding towns possibly be hush too, because word's gonna spread, hey, this wasn't real? So, like, if you're gonna try to fool a nation, because, again, obviously the president was involved at the time, so if you're gonna fool the whole nation, like, that's a lot of people that you gotta hush. And it's like sometimes people say, like with NASA, how would you keep NASA so hush all these years? Well, it's a little bit easier in NASA. Those are your employees, and you're under government contracts and all this. Like, it's easier to keep you in control versus a whole entire state, let's say. Even not the whole state, but a large region of towns, Sandy Hook plus the surrounding towns, and it's just regular citizens, you know what I mean? It's not like they're your workers and they have a contract with you and all this. It's just people just living their lives. So it's like, how are you going to control that? So, there's a lot to debunk it. Like, nah, it's dumb. I get it. It seems suspicious, but no. Like, this nonsense happened. This stupid kid, whatever his name was, Adam, what was his last name? Started with an L. He was an idiot. He looks like a moron anyways with his big eyes. I'm psychotic. So, Adam Lanza. Yeah, that was a stupid kid's name. But, then what's the other one that's pretty big out there? This one might not be as big, but I heard it. I actually heard this one from somebody that I used to work with when I worked overnights. Of course, the overnight crew is the weirdos. I was only on that crew just because there's a whole story for that, but I'm not a weirdo. I just happened to be on that shift. Anyways, his theory was that humans are, I don't want to say we're aliens, but we were cast here way back in the day by aliens. Like, Earth is basically a prison planet for our species. So we call ourselves Homo sapiens. So whatever alien brought us here, the Greys or whatever, they were casting out Homo sapiens on this planet, on Earth. And like, his proof was, we're not really hospitable for this planet. We get sick, we get diseases, even the sun, we got to protect ourselves against. You can get sunburn, sun cancer. If we naturally belonged here, like, we would be a fit, and this would be perfect, and it's not. We need to have this and that and the other thing. He's listing all kinds of stuff. We need the water, we need air, which, okay, seems kind of weak, though. I'm sure other species need liquids and stuff. And think about all the other critters that live here. The birds and all that, they need water and air and stuff. So it's like, okay, I mean, you're just adding on to your theory, I guess. But yeah, I mean, he was throwing out all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we're just not a natural fit here. What else did he say? Something like, man, it's been a while. He only talked about it one time, and this was probably back in 2018, so I don't remember all his details. But still, he was going on for about an hour. It was interesting listening to him, don't get me wrong. But it was, at the same time, I'm listening to him like, bro, you are psychotic. You believe this stuff? You know what I mean? It's like listening to your semi-senile grandpa. Like, you're just going to listen to him out of love and respect. Like, okay, grandpa, good story. But you're thinking, oh my God, this guy's half out of it. But, yeah, but like that one, I didn't fall into it because there's too many variables. First off, we don't even have proof yet that aliens exist, or maybe we do, but the government just hides it from us. As far as everyone else is concerned, we don't know. I mean, even though the universe is massive, maybe somehow we are the only thing out here. It'd be kind of weird if that was the case, but who knows? We don't yet. And then the other thing is, how do you know that that's the situation, that we were outcast here? Even if there are aliens, how would you know that they casted us out here? What is our planet supposed to be then? Where are we supposed to live? I mean, if this is a prison planet, then that means there's life somewhere else, so where is it? I mean, obviously, the part of the theory was that they sent us far away so we can't find our way back, but I don't know, what's it supposed to be? What are we supposed to be living on? What is it, you know what I mean? If this is bad for us, then what's good for us? So, I don't know. That's kind of a goofy, psychotic, deranged theory as well. So, yeah, anyways, I like to listen to them because they're funny and entertaining, but a lot of them are just way out there, and it's like, man, you people have nothing better to do than just worry about things that are just ridiculous. Like, all you gotta do is say a few sentences, and it should start dawning on you like, nah, this ain't right, I'm stupid. But anyways, as I said, there are two that I actually do, I don't know how to phrase it, not believe in, but that I think are actually real. I guess, yeah, there's two conspiracy theories that I think are actually real. And they're not a theory, they're truth. It's just, they have to be called a conspiracy theory because the government won't admit them. So, not in any particular order, just in the order of how I think of them, let's get into it. So the first one that I actually think is not a theory and is actually true is that 9/11 was an inside job. September 11 was an inside job. There's just so much surrounding this that A, doesn't make sense if it was true terrorists, and B, there is actually a ton of evidence that proves that this wasn't a natural event. This was years ago, but I watched a documentary on YouTube that, and so I prefaced it as this was years ago because I don't remember what it was called. I don't remember what channel it was from. For all I know, it's been taken down. I mean, I probably listened to this back in 2015. Like, it's been a long time since I listened to it. I have been meaning to look it back up, though, if I could find it, because it was a pretty good documentary. And I don't think it was a fan-made thing or anything like that. I'm pretty sure it was on TV, but it was like a obscure-ish channel, like PBS or something. But still. So it does have enough credentials, I guess you could say, because it made it on regular broadcast TV. But anyways, the thing was, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours long, but it was like jam-packed with evidence after evidence after evidence after evidence that it was an inside job. I mean, they didn't dwell on each topic for too long. They'd mention a topic, they'd have like a professional interview, professional meaning like with an expert in the field, or like they'd have like clips of interviewing somebody off the street on 9/11 actually, after it happened. And then, and then they'd move on to the next topic, and then the same situation, have like an interview or something, and the next, and there was so much. So, starting way from the beginning, this wasn't in the documentary. This is something I've always thought, as long as I've thought that this was actually real and not terrorist. I don't know when I started thinking this, because when 9/11 happened, I was in 8th grade, so I didn't know what the heck was going on. I never heard of the Trade Towers before. I didn't know what they were for. And all I knew is that, they're making us watch this on TV. Here I am. What was I? I was still 12 at the time, and they're making me watch these planes crash into buildings that I've never heard of, but apparently they're important. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? And then I start getting nervous. I'm like, I hope they don't come crashing into the school while we're here. But then I'm like, wait, no. I'm trying to calm myself down. I'm like, no, that's stupid. That's not going to happen. We're just some random school in a random small town. Like, there's no planes coming here. They're going after those because those are big buildings in New York. They're prominent. We're not a prominent big school. We live in the boondocks. So I'm like, it's not going to happen. Stop thinking stupid things. But still, I'm just watching this like, what? And then they're like, it's terrorists. And I'm like, what the heck is a terrorist? And yeah. So, for a while, that's what I thought. But then when did this start happening? I don't know. Maybe I started shifting my ideas like either late college or like right after I graduated college. Somewhere around there probably. Then I start to think, wait, maybe this wasn't actually real. As I got older and I learned more information and thought about things, kind of started using my own mind instead of just what the media was telling you, the news was telling you. Kind of like what a lot of people need to do nowadays. See, I fell for it when I was a kid, but as I grew up, I realized, wait, I have a brain too, and some of this doesn't make sense, so why am I just listening to them? But yeah. So, I started to think, wait a minute, the very first thing was that this election, back in the day, what was it, 99, 2000, for the president, that was between Al Gore and George Bush. And remember in Florida, there was that whole situation where, there's the delay, we got to recount the votes. Because from day one, it's like, wait a minute, they needed Bush to be in the office. He was the one to orchestrate this. Gore wasn't in on the plan. You can't have Gore be the president. They needed Bush. Bush was in on it. And so maybe in Florida, Gore did win. And they were like, recount. We got to change this up. There we go. Now Bush won. We got it. We manipulated it. That's the very first thing I thought. They didn't say this in the documentary, but that's what I have thought myself when I started thinking about this. Like, that is suspicious how that worked out. It's almost like they needed the right guy. Gore wasn't the right guy. And then it just carries on. I mean, when it happened, so first off, you got to think about this. The towers, when the planes hit the towers, they both hit them pretty high. I mean, the first one hit the tower very high. I mean, it hit it at the 80-something floor or something ridiculous like that. And then the second plane hit more in the middle. It was around the 68th floor, 69th, something like that, I think it was. But, I mean, the first plane hit it super high. Why would the tower fall being hit that high up? I mean, think about it. Does that make any kind of logical sense? Does any kind of physics type sense? No, that's weird. Like, that would be like Jenga. Well, Jenga's kind of not stable. Let me think of something else. I don't know, but that just doesn't make sense. You hit something at the top and the whole thing falls down. That's not how it would work. Especially a steel structure like that's insanely over-engineered with very rigid everything, the protocols and all of it. Like, the big buildings like that come with like a finely reinforced center, like a spine almost, and then the building is built around that. Like, getting hit that high up, the building's not going to come down. There'll be some damage, and they'll close off the top floors and maybe fix it, or maybe just take it down, make the tower shorter, but it's not going to come down. Even the second one hitting right in the middle, okay, that's a little more plausible, you could say, but even then, would the whole tower come down because the middle was hit? I don't know. I mean, maybe if the upper floor, and maybe if there was enough damage in the middle and it started to give out, then it might give out, and then that would cause those top floors to come down, and then, well, then, yeah, that would be it, actually. I was going to say, then maybe it's too heavy and the rest collapses, but no, it wouldn't be too heavy, because it's already supporting all that. So just because one of the floors gives out, and now you got the middle floor, and then you got those top floors now a little bit lower, that doesn't mean anything. The building was still designed to be able to hold all that weight. So, again, even that's kind of suspicious. The only time I think it's real is if it, I think it's real, you know what I mean? The only time that would make sense, I should say, is if it was hit very low, like say the 30th floor or lower. Okay, then maybe. That's very low. It could end up tipping over. Back to Jenga. There you go. Take out a block at the bottom, and that Jenga tower, if it wasn't the right block, that's coming right over. There's not enough support, not enough everything, gives out. But that high up, I don't know. A second thing, again, these aren't in any order. I'm not like recapping the video. Like I said, I saw this video back in 2015. These are just, some of it is evidence that the video provided, and some of it is what I think. But anyways, as I say, these aren't in any particular order. Like I said, first off, second off, it's not in any kind of order. It's just things that as I'm thinking of it. If you've ever listened to these ever before, I make my T4Cast typically when I'm driving to a customer. So, yeah, it's just as I'm thinking of it. So anyways, carrying on with that backstory, the second point that you could use as proof is when the towers were coming down, there was these little blasts. And you can watch it on the videos if you slow it down. There's a lot of videos on YouTube just highlighting this specifically. But there's these little blast points of it looks like a puff of air just blowing out of the side. And they had demolitions experts look at it, and they say that happens in a controlled demolition. Those little blasts are where the explosives are, and so when they detonate, it makes that little blast come out. And these towers, as they're falling, just have those blast marks constantly. Each floor, boof, 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 has those blast marks, which makes it look like, oh, there was explosives planted, and now they're exploding. Well, that's weird, because if this was a terrorist attack, why would there be explosives exploding? Oh yeah, there wouldn't be. What the heck? I'm just saying what the heck, because like I said, I'm always driving when I do these, and there's a guy pulled over on the side of the road, and he's not hidden by any means, and he's just standing there taking a leak. Technically, isn't that like indecent exposure? You can call the cops, and this guy can get be a registered sex offender? Come on, you moron. What's even dumber is I'm right down the street from a Walmart. You gotta drive about a half a mile more, and there's a Walmart right there, and you can properly use a bathroom. Not just stand on the side of the road with your dick hanging out. Seriously? Anyways, back to the story about the little explosions. I know there's a name for it, but I can't remember what it is. Not in the demolitions field, so why would I know the word? But it would sound a lot better if I could say the word instead of a little explosion, a little puff of air. But anyways, yeah, so there's that coming all the way down. Well, that wouldn't naturally happen, from what I understand from these demolitions experts. A third thing is how perfectly the towers came down. Play Jenga and pull out a piece from the bottom and see what happens. Does the pile just go down nice and straight? No, it tips over and makes a giant mess all over the place. Yet these towers, when they came down, they went straight down into themselves. Other than all the dust and debris flying around everywhere, there was no mess. Just a nice pile right there, right where they used to stand for crews to come and clean up later. Huh, that seems natural. When does that happen? Oh yeah, under controlled demolitions. What else? There's also, the people also say this. I don't really know if there really was an explosion and stuff and a building came down, maybe all of it would kind of just get incinerated. But they always like to try to point out how there's no papers really. There's no chairs. There's no office stuff. That was a whole entire functioning, operating office building, and then there's just nothing. No desks, no chairs, no papers, no filing cabinets, no nothing. But like I said, well, I don't know, maybe it just got pulverized. It became part of the dust that flew around everywhere. Who knows? But still, there's that, I guess. Sorry about this hawking. That's kind of gross, but got something caught in my throat. I don't know what. I'm not eating anything or anything, but it's just there kind of stabbing me. Anyways, what else is suspicious about these? Oh yeah, there's the World Trade Center 7 building. That was essentially nowhere near those, those two that fell. Wasn't that 1 and 2? And that one miraculously fell too. And what did World Trade Center 7 hold? A lot of classified government type information. Oh, let's just get rid of this though. Get rid of all traces of our involvement in this scam right here to pretend terrorists knock down these buildings. How convenient. And then there's also a bunch of news videos, clips, whatever you want to say, where the people are talking about stuff that has happened that didn't happen yet. Now, I don't know if those are edited after the fact. The way they're presented, I don't think they are. Who knows? Maybe they are. Maybe somebody's trying to troll everyone. Oh, look, they knew something happened before it happened. But there's a lot of clips out there that show the people talking about X, Y, and Z before X, Y, and Z happened. Again, back to World Trade Center 7. There's a journalist out in the field talking about how, this tower behind me just fell too. That makes the third one or whatever. He's going on. But yeah, it's still standing there perfectly fine. I don't think it falls at all during his clip. And yet he's talking about how it did fall. Well, that's something easy to see. All you got to do is turn around and you'll see, oh, no, it's still standing there. I don't know. It could just be a little misspeaking moment. The other two fell, so maybe he's thinking about those, how they fell. Now he's talking about this one, so he's just saying, yeah, it fell, but maybe he meant it's going to. It looks like it's going to or something, and he just missed a few words. I don't know. But there's that. I think there's another instance as well where they're talking about that. I can't remember. There's even, this maybe is a little bit weak, but they also use evidence of how there was actually somebody recording when the first plane flew into the tower. And it's well, maybe that seems suspicious, but at the same time, maybe the person was just heard the plane and was whoa, what's going on? And started recording. Or they were just a tourist, you know what I mean? And they were checking out the trade towers. Wow, I'm standing at the trade towers. And it just happened that the plane came. And they're what the heck? So it's that's a little weak. I mean, they're trying to pitch it as oh, why would they be recording? This is just too convenient. It's they knew something was going to happen. And it's well, calm down there. There's a lot of reasons why somebody could be recording. Yeah, it might seem weird on the surface, but once you know the full story, it's probably oh, that makes sense. Anyhow, yeah, what else happened? What else is some of the evidence that was produced? They even did some interviews with people that work in the towers. So now again, you almost have to take these interviews with a grain of salt, because it's well, do these people really work with the towers and stuff? I don't know, but there's one, I think the guy he was on the first floor or something, and when the planes hit, he was it felt like it was something below me went off, a bomb exploded in the basement or something. And then they're telling me that planes hit above, and I'm what? That didn't feel like it was on top of me at all. The whole ground was shaking. If it was planes, why would the ground be shaking? And all this, and it's well, I don't know how it would feel to be in a building that gets hit. Maybe it feels that way, you know what I mean? Because of the structural integrity, maybe something high up there does get hit, and then it just reverberates through the whole foundation and everything, and then it just kind of levels out in the basement. So then it just feels like that. Man, what is this dickbag doing? There's some truck. I always say how I'm driving when I do these. There's some truck. First off, so it was a double lane road, and the guy was behind me and flew by me. I mean, I'm going kind of fast as it is, because the speed limit on the road that I'm on is 50. So I'm even doing a little faster than that. Just I'm not trying to. It's just happening. I'm going 55 right now. But this moron flew by me, flew by. You have to be going 70, 75. And then he came up across these two trailer trucks. For me, they're way up ahead, but since he's hauling, he's right up on them. And I thought, when I saw them, I thought, you're an idiot. You're going to have to slow down now, because the double lane ended. It's back to a normal single lane. Nope, he just pulled out and flies right by them. But then there's cars coming, so now it's two single lane roads. He's in their lane, passing these trailer trucks. It's what are you doing? Geez, I feel pretty soon I'm going to get further up the road and find him in some severe accident or wrapped up on the side of the road or something. It's going to go from me talking about it to me being able to add it in here, show the video clip of this dumb guy in his white truck. Anyways, what was I talking about? This guy's distracting me, how terribly he's driving. Oh yeah, so I don't know, maybe if something got hit like that, it would reverberate in the basement. I don't know how they're designed. Yeah, I do design engineering, but I don't do architectural, so I don't know. What else though? There's also some clips too. Again, they could just be doctored just for the purpose of trying to pitch a conspiracy theory, but they say how the planes aren't actually even there. There's nobody that in videos, like they'll show like a landscape of people. There's no people like looking at the sky like, what's that plane doing really low? Like nobody seems bothered because there was no plane. The planes were added in as like CGI after the fact, just for the purpose of the news, so you could see a plane, but there really wasn't a plane. I don't know. I mean, if that's true, then wow, that's pretty psychotic. But I don't know. That's just part of their case that they pitched, that there's not actually any planes, and so obviously it's just the bombs that took it down, but they added in the planes just to make it seem better. Like they make it like the first explosion was just a controlled explosion to make all that smoke and stuff, and then after a while they let it come down after like an hour. That's another thing too, how the towers came down. I should have thought of this then. So they came down quickly. I mean, they came down neatly in a straight line, but they also came down literally faster than the laws of physics would allow. They came down basically faster than free fall. So how does that happen? If it's controlled, if something is encouraging it to go faster than that. Like, I guess based on the height of the towers, if these towers fell in free fall, it should have taken them about 11 seconds to come all the way down. And they come down in like 9.5 seconds or something. And it's like, that's literally impossible. So how did it happen? Both of them. How did it happen? Don't quote me on the 9.5. Could be 10 seconds they took, but all I know is it was like 11 seconds based on the height and the, speed of gravity and stuff, 9.8 meters per second squared. And yeah, the towers came down faster than what they should have. So that's a little suspicious too. What else did I think of? There was one more thing that I just thought of that coincided with that. Now I forgot again. It came down perfect. Oh yeah. It's also ironic how, I guess you could say ironic, I don't know if that's the right word, but how they came down so quickly too. They basically were hit and smoldered for an hour and then boop, came right down. Where there's been so many buildings in the past in other parts of the world that have been on fire and smoldering for hours and hours and hours and hours, and they're still standing to this day. The fire was put out, they were rebuilt, and now they're functioning again. Like, I hear there was one building in like Madrid, and it was smoldering and on fire and all this for 24 hours straight. They got it out, they rebuilt it, and it's back to being a functioning hotel or whatever it was. And it's all because of the center core thing that I said, how they have the reinforced steel and all that. So yes, the building in Madrid was pretty badly damaged, but its center core was still perfectly intact, so they were able to just rebuild around that. So, and it was a fraction of the height of what the trade towers were. Not really a fraction, I'm not saying it's a tiny building, but the trade towers were 110 stories? This thing was maybe like 40. Oh my god, it's so dry in here. Anyways, yeah, this thing was like 40. So, if something that's 40 stories high has a really good core, then something that's, 110 stories high has a super OP core. Then I think they sprinkled in how back in the original terrorist attack, the one that happened in the 90s, they put bombs at the base and all this, and did anything happen? No. The buildings were totally fine. They recovered, they rebuilt, and blah, blah, blah. So why is it now that they come straight down? And then the other one they say is with jet fuel. They say jet fuel doesn't burn hot enough for metal to melt. Now, this one kind of gets complex because, yes, there's the aspect of it melting, but it doesn't necessarily have to melt to get weakened. Steel, it typically melts around 3,000 degrees, but, blacksmiths don't get it that hot. They get it to like 1500, and then that's when it's able to be bent and all that. It gets red hot and you can bend it. So it's like, that's a weird argument they got there. Yes, it's not hot enough to melt the steel and turn it into a liquid, but it's still hot enough to get it weak. And while it's trying to hold all this weight, weakened steel is just going to start bending and stuff. So that one's kind of a bit, I don't know, two-sided. Yes, it's an argument, but no, I don't think it's strong enough. Apparently, they claim that they also found evidence of thermite, one of those two, on the scene. I don't recall how they found it, either based on the smoke color or something like that. But anyways, if you don't know thermate or thermite, each one of them is an option. I just forget which one it is. But they help fires burn hotter. So they're saying, oh, well, see, that's why that was there. That way then the flames could get hot enough to melt the steel. And all this. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not there. I don't know what thermate or thermite looks like. I don't even know which one I'm supposed to be calling out. So I can't really accept or refute that. But that's just what they said. Anyways, I feel like the list probably goes on, but I can't really think of it while I'm trying to drive. Plus, I got this stupid truck behind me kind of riding on me, which is annoying. But anyways, why would this be an inside job? What would be the whole point of doing all this for? And, taking 3,000 people's lives, 3,000 domestic people's lives and such, basically being a terrorist to your own country? Well, it's because a couple things. First off, it was, I guess, the owner of the trade towers. I wish I remembered who he was or is. I don't know if it's still the same guy or the same family or whatever. I would like to just look it up, but as I said, I do these while I'm driving. I can't really start doing research. I can chat, hold my phone and talk to it, but I can't really start doing research. But anyways, apparently what happened was this guy needed to get all the asbestos out of his towers. Well, obviously those are giant buildings, so there's a ton of asbestos in there. And I guess the problem was, A, it was going to cost a lot of money, like I think $1 billion per tower or something like that. And B, like, even at the end of the day, no matter how thorough of a job was done, there's still going to be nooks and crannies and cracks and stuff that you just can't get into to get the asbestos out. So technically, the building would never be fully rid of asbestos, and that also means that if an inspection came around, it would still fail because there would still be asbestos in the building. So all that time, money, effort, and it still wouldn't be good enough. So obviously this posed a problem for the owner of the buildings, because now it's like, well, what do I do? Do I waste all this money and such and still fail inspections? Or do I just abandon these buildings? Or what do I do? And so, boop, got an idea. Hey, how about I just knock them down? Then I can do some insurance fraud, which basically happened. Again, from what I hear, after the towers came down, so to rebuild, what is it now? They got World Trade Center 1. There's only one tower now. And yeah, the difference between building that tower and the money that he got from the insurance payout, he made $1 billion. He made $1 billion to basically solve all his problems. He got rid of all the asbestos. He got rid of those towers. Didn't have to worry about any kind of loss there, like as opposed to if he just abandoned them. And he was able to get a new tower built, all with insurance money. It didn't affect his pocket at all. And he was able to put $1 billion in the bank on top of it. He got paid to get new stuff. So yeah, that's an incentive for that guy. I think the payout for the trade towers was like $7 billion. So to build World Trade Center 1 was $6 billion, which left him with that extra $1 billion. Yeah, so, and then there was some other, there's more details surrounding this guy as well. Like I said, he's affiliated with the family somehow. He's either like a friend of Jeb's, or he's something, or I don't know. He's somehow affiliated with the family though. And relatively recently, before the terrorist attack happened, he had upped the insurance on the buildings or something like that. Like, it was suspiciously close though. Like, he did it on like September 10th. And then, good thing I upped my insurance. Look what happened. I had no idea that was gonna happen. So yeah. That's one huge thing right there. God, what is making me cough? My bad. The second thing, though, is our currency currently is backed by nothing. Back in the day, it was backed by gold and silver, and there was actual gold and silver in a bank vault. So your money, if you had $1, there was gold worth $1 in a vault somewhere backing your money. Yeah, now we're backed by nothing. It's backed by the goodwill and trust of the Federal Reserve. And so basically what we were, I don't know if we still do this, but we were basing our currency value on foreign oil. Well, something was going on over in Iraq and all that, those places that we get oil from. And yeah, it was going to cause a problem for our economy. So the plan was for Bush, he wanted to get over there and, straighten things out with them so that then our money wouldn't become worthless. And so the idea was, well, how do we get over there and have the American people be behind it? We can't just go invade and be like, yeah, we just need to make sure our money stays strong. They're like, we need something better. And so the idea was, hey, let's just stage a terrorist attack. Now everybody's going to be rallying behind us. Yeah, go get those stupid Arabs. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Go get those Arabs. Go get those terrorists. Go get those Middle Eastern people. Yeah, go to Afghanistan. Kill them all. Go to Iraq. Then everyone's rallying behind you. Yeah, I want to join the military. Say my piece to them too. So then that's what they do. Okay, cool. We'll make a terrorist attack. Now we get over there. We get our money handled, which is our real goal. But everyone thinks we're just over there for a terrorist attack. And boom. So yeah, that's the other thing. Overall, though, this has been pretty ridiculous. Like, all the people that died on 9/11, then you have the military and all that's been going on. I mean, basically this caused tons of added debt for a pointless, stupid war over a lie. All because we can't base our money on anything worthwhile. We have to do it on foreign oil like a bunch of idiots. And then we have all those people over there that died for no reason, potentially. I'd say potentially, because I don't really know if we were actually warring with the Afghani and Iraqi people and actually killing people, or if we're just kind of there making a presence. That's something I probably should know, but I don't. So we potentially killed people over there as well that we have no business being over there with. And then there's all the people who, all the military people that were just over there, just deployed constantly for no reason. And actually, yeah, there probably was murders going on, but it wouldn't be innocent people, because I'm just thinking about the movie Brothers. That was based on Iraq and stuff, right? Afghanistan. So yeah, and then we basically crippled all their economies. I mean, now it's led up to the point where Afghanistan is under Taliban control, so that's terrific. This isn't because of Bush, but it is slightly a result of Bush because of everything that he started. ISIS was able to come up under Obama. What else? Just, I don't know, a lot of nonsense has happened over this stupid, pointless war that should have never happened. All the people that have lost their lives and stuff over what? A lie? Over something that you're just going to forever call the conspiracy theory? Actually, that's some bit of proof, too, that there's so many instances that they have where George Bush almost has a Freudian slip and reveals that it's all a lie. There's one that he's with Barbara. That's his wife, right? I don't know. What were the names? I'm trying to think. There's Barbara and there's the other one. That's his mom. I think it's Barbara's. If it's not his wife, then that's what I mean is his wife. If I'm calling his mom his wife, my bad. You know what I mean. But yeah, he's at an interview and he almost says something like, inside, he says something, not inside job, but he says something that would get him into hot water, and right as he's about to say, you can see that she nudges him with her elbow, like, hey, watch what you're about to say. And she catches him, and then he's able to catch himself because he understood why she's nudging him. But there's that. There's even that recent thing where he says, all the loss of, no, it's not up to one country to go to war and cause all this senseless, I mean, it's not right for one country to go over into another country and cause all kinds of waste of life, like in Iraq. I mean, Ukraine, Oops. Said the right thing there. I mean the wrong thing. But But yeah, even that, Fruity and Slip, he's getting older now. He's not as sharp anymore. He hasn't been president for a couple decades, so, he's not worried about keeping them lies super sealed anymore like he was. It's not really a topic anymore at the forefront of things. And, yeah, so it's basically been slightly leaking out, but of course everyone just plays it off. No, silly president. He's just thinking about when he was president, and, it was Iraq at one point that he was talking about all the time, in Afghanistan, so that's why he said that. Which, yeah, okay, I buy it, but still, at the same time, could be a Freudian slip. He could be thinking about what he did. Oh, man, I did all this nonsense. Shouldn't have happened, and it did. He lost a lot of soldiers. They lost a lot of lives, all because of me. But, yeah, so there's that. And then the other thing is that I think about is, just think about these people, these terrorists. They're a bunch of hooligans, basically. They live in caves. They don't have money. They live in a desert. Look at their clothes. They just wear a blanket as their clothes. And you mean to tell me that these people were able to orchestrate coming over here in the first place, then stealing a plane when they got here, not stealing, but hijacking the plane when they got here, and then you're telling me that they knew how to fly it, and you're telling me that they knew where to go? I don't know any monuments over in Afghanistan and stuff, and I have the internet at my fingertips. You're telling me people that live in caves and wear blankets know what the trade towers are and how to get there, and they learned how to fly a plane and all this, and what? And then you're telling me that their mastermind, bin Laden, whose basically entire adult life was spent hiding in a cave because he's a known terrorist, and he's got to always be on the run and on the hide. He's the one that orchestrated it all, and it's how do you? It doesn't even make any sense when you think about it. How do these people? Also, how do these people with no money come here? They first have to come to the United States. Why didn't they just fly over from Afghanistan and then just on their way through be oops, I hit the towers? No, they first somehow came here and then decided, all right, we got to get to a New York airport, maybe Boston. Where did they come out of? I don't know what airport they came out of. But, they were hey, let's go to this airport. Then we'll just board a plane. And then halfway through the flight, we'll just, take it over. When you really stop and think about it, it's just super nonsense. What? That doesn't even make sense. And I know security and stuff has changed since then, or at least they claim, but meaning that it's really, I guess it has stepped up a lot, huh? It's not like it's gotten more lax or anything, but all I'm saying is, think about if you were to try to do that domestically. You know how hard that would be? You can't just walk into a cockpit and steal a plane. Isn't the doors all locked and secured? So how did they even get in there? But weren't they suspicious looking or anything? I don't know. I feel like there's so many loopholes into this story that, basically homeless people took over a plane and then knew how to fly it and knew where to go. Okay, this is where we got to go. Maybe they saw the towers. I don't know. Then you just got to direct it there. Okay, let's just fly this thing and don't touch anything. Just control the levers, and there we go. And we'll get it low enough, and boom, there we go. Hit it. I don't know. There's a lot. And like I said, there's a ton of evidence. I didn't even cover it all because I can't think of the rest, but there's a lot. Like I said, I saw a long documentary that just kept going and going and going. And hey, there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this. And it's oh, man. This was done on purpose, huh? So, yeah. That basically wraps up conspiracy theory number 1 that I believe in, I guess. Again, I don't want to say believe in, but I don't really know what the other words should be for it. That I accept? I don't know. Anyhow, the second one is that we never actually landed on the moon. Or if we did, it sure the heck wasn't back in the 60s like we've been told. If we landed on the moon, it has been way more recently. Because, well, I'll get into it, but there's one thing that really makes me think maybe we only did it recently. And it's that one of the moon rock samples they just recently tested. It started analyzing, And they said, after 50 years, they're studying this. It's why would you wait 50 years to study a moon rock? Wouldn't you want to do that right away? Oh, hey, cool, we got something off the rock. Let's check this out, see what the composition is. Is it similar to us? Is there anything different in there? In the structure of the moon? Maybe there's some kind of like foreign alien material. That would be cool. Then we could figure out how to use it and start farming stuff off the moon, and we have more stuff here on Earth. No, just, hey, that's cool. Just put that in that case over there. Maybe in 50 years we'll get around to it. No, I think the situation is that we didn't get to it until 50 years later, because that's when we finally went to the moon and actually finally got a piece. It wasn't because we let it sit in a box for 50 years. It's because we just got it. And it just happened to be 50 years after we pretended that we originally got it. So yeah, I guess it's not that I don't think we never went. I just don't think we went when we said we did back in the 60s. I don't think it was until much more recently. Also, the other thing that's mildly suspicious is, why did the missions just kind of stop? It was like, what, Apollo 18? They were supposed to have up to Apollo 20, and then they were just like, nah, we're not going to do the last couple. Or, no, it went up to Apollo 17, right? And then the last 3, I don't know, whatever the case was, they didn't even do all of them. Like, why did they quit? Like, I'd say 3/4. It's not 3/4, it's more than that. Majority of the way through, they just quit. Okay, good enough. We're not doing this anymore. It just seems weird. And then, they go and say now that, we don't go to the moon anymore because we lost that technology. Like, seriously? What kind of excuse is that? You supposedly went up there in the late 60s. Okay, what kind of technology did they have in the 60s? None. Like, they always say that the military and the government and all that has technology for 20 years before we get it. So that means the technology in the late 60s that they were using would have been equivalent to what oh my word, I'm stumbling trying to figure out how to phrase this. The technology they used in the late 60s is equal to technology from the late 80s, okay? Would you call that technologically advanced? No. Cell phones were still big, bulky bricks. What else did they have? They had Walkmans. CDs weren't... Actually, CDs might have been a baby at that time, but still, Walkmans and cassettes were more of the thing. Video games were Nintendo and Atari still. 8-bit. Like, technology wasn't that juicy yet. So that's what they're rocking with back in the 60s, though, and they were able to go into space. But now, when was this interview anyways that I heard that they lost it? Even if they supposedly lost the technology after the last moon landing, you're talking, late... when was that? Late 70s? I don't actually know when the last lunar mission was. But still, so you're telling me that better technology came out over the years, and yet somehow you lost the ability to use the older technology? I don't understand how that makes sense. And then the thing that just makes it even dumber nowadays is, they talk about how, they're planning on going to Mars and all this. Oh, so you can make it to Mars. You can go all the way to Mars, but you can't go to the moon anymore. Oh, we don't have the technology for the moon, but we definitely have the technology for Mars. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We can get those lunar, whatever they're called, telescopes, lunar, not lunar. Why do I keep saying lunar? Lunar means moon, dang it. We can get those probes way out to space, deep space. We have one that passed Pluto. We got the new one that they sent out, James Webb or whatever the heck it was called. You can make those things that can follow a path and go way the heck out there where we need them to go. But, getting to the moon, oh God, I can't do that. It's just so stupid and suspicious. Like, I wouldn't say I don't think we ever went. I'm sure we were there, or some country at least was there. Who knows? Maybe we never did go yet, and that's why we're aiming for Mars instead. Yeah, screw the moon. Moon's been thoroughly explored. Let's go somewhere different. Mars. There we go. No one's been there yet. But, yeah, I don't know. It's like they also had the footage of the Stanley Kubrick footage, which I don't know when they admitted this, but they did admit that it was, that was actually footage that was recorded in a studio, not actually from the moon. But they claim that, that was just in case we had problems on the moon. That way then we could still put out a broadcast, just in case it didn't work. But it did work! So we didn't have to worry about that. You actually got to see from the moon. And it's just like, what? Okay, first off, no, you clearly used this footage. There's no way in the 60s you were broadcasting from the moon to the Earth. Second off, that's the other thing, too. You have Nixon supposedly calling them on the moon and having a conversation. That's one small step for a man and one giant leap for mankind. And it's like, people are supposed to believe this? I mean, they do. They think that actually happened. Yep, Nixon was talking to some guy on the moon. Does it make any sense at all? Nope. But somehow in the late 60s, you're talking with a guy on the moon. Actually, why would it even be Nixon? That was Nixon on the phone, right? Should have been LBJ, though, right? Late 60s. That would have been LBJ's presidency. Unless that's the transitional period? I don't know. Maybe I'm a little confused in my presidents here now. In any case, though, it doesn't make sense. Try to make a call to the moon now. I don't really know how you do that. I guess you have to know an astronaut. But try to make a call to the moon now. It's not going to work. How are you going to connect to the moon? But you're telling me back in the 60s, yep, everything's working perfectly smoothly. I mean, geez, TVs were still black and white, but yet we're making calls to the moon. Okay. I don't know. I just really don't think that that ever actually happened. At least not then. I think what happened is we just lied and made it sound like we went to the moon because, it was in the Cold War and all that, and Russia, and we wanted to one-up them. We kind of came out as the top guys in World War II, and we wanted to keep that momentum rolling. We wanted to keep that steam going. We wanted to keep looking like the big dogs, and then we made up a lie. Oh, yeah, we're on the moon. What's up? It's like, I don't even know what the progress of rockets was prior to the moon either. Was there... I mean, I guess there was some. I guess so. They had the dog that went into space, and they had... What else did they have? I don't know, but, how much space exploration had even happened? It's like you're telling me that we barely ever were in space in general, and then out of nowhere, we're like, hey, let's just go to the moon. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, and then it was kind of rushed. I mean, it was like an idea with Kennedy, and then, boop, end of the same exact decade, we're supposedly up there. Okay. I don't know. It's like, it's almost like the modern day equivalency of the moon race is like COVID vaccines nowadays. It was like, oh, we got COVID, we're gonna need vaccines. Operation Warp Speed. Poof. Hey, look, we got vaccines. Those things were just rushed out, and then look, they're just a piece of crap, super unsafe, super ineffective. They don't work at all. They screw up some people's immune systems. I know somebody who's gotten the dang shot, and one of the shots too, not even all 37,209 of the boosters, just the one main shot. And now they have tons of weird immunities to stuff that they didn't have immunities to before. But the problem is it's not good immunities, it's bad immunities. It's immunities to antibiotics, so they don't even work. They take the antibiotic for, X problem. The antibiotic is ineffective because of their weird immunities that they build up to the antibiotic. So now they still have X problem. And it's like, what the F? That's cool. I really want that COVID vaccine. They're still safe and effective, though. Okay. Something that's super rushed out with these scientists under extreme pressure. I bet you that is safe and effective. Yeah, super high stress environment. Trying to do all this research without actually doing research. Oh, yeah, that's going to yield some positive, great results. But no, listen to the government because, they know what they're talking about. They're scientists. They worked on it. Yeah, let's listen to Fauci all the time. He totally knew what he was talking about when he's just constantly on TV and not actually in a single lab working on the vaccine. Yeah, we should listen to him. He's had so much hands-on experience with these vaccines. Oh, a senile old guy with Alzheimer's is on TV telling us that they're safe and effective and then whispering that you should just get it. Yeah, I'm going to listen to this guy because, again, just like Fauci, he totally worked on them. He had hands-on. He provided a lot of research into COVID and what kind of vaccine would work against it. Yeah, I'm going to listen to that guy. In case you didn't know what I'm talking about Dickbag Biden. No. If you want me to take your stupid vaccine, how about you let me hear from somebody who's put in 120 hours a week for the past 3 months working on your dumb vaccine, who actually knows what's in it, how it was made, and what the fuck's up with it. Let them tell me. Because they're going to sing a totally different story because they know, geez, we've been under the gun literally, super high pressure, and this is not a good product. Do not put this in your body. Trust me, I'm not putting it in mine, and I made it. But no, we can't let those stories come out. Because that doesn't fit the narrative. COVID is scary. Yeah, okay. A cold that has a name. So scary. I mean, that's basically all it is. I'm pretty sure I've had COVID 4 times. It's fine. The worst that happens is you lose your taste and smell, which is just annoying. It's not even that bad. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't smell anything or taste anything. It's just annoying. I wish I could taste my food. It would make it much more enjoyable. But, like, every time I had COVID, I still perfectly functioned. I went out to stores and restaurants. I didn't care. They make you wear masks anyways. What's the difference? The masks are supposed to work, right? You want to use these leftist logic. The masks are supposed to work. So who cares if I have COVID? I got a mask on. Oh, you're vaccinated, right? So you got the vaccine. That supposedly works, right? So what's it matter if I'm out in public with a cold? Because that's all it really fucking is. Just like the CDC and all them. All they are is just like the gatekeepers of the information, if you will. The gatekeepers of the science. They just make up whatever they want. But, oh, well, we're the ones that did the science. So until they finally tell the truth, I mean, at the end of the day, you have no proof that they're lying, but you know they are. It's so ridiculous. You know, it's like, I remember the days of when conspiracy theories were actually conspiracy theories. And, you know, people were just kind of psychotic thinking these weird things. Like, there's a guy that he recently got fired from my job. But, man, that guy had so many crazy over-the-top conspiracy theories. And it was just like, don't talk about this with me because you're making me paranoid. And I know that you're just way over-the-top psycho, so I shouldn't feel paranoid. But, oh, my word, the way you pitch it and everything, it's just like, ah! But, yeah, it was just like, bro, what are you talking about half the time? And that's what a conspiracy theory was supposed to be. But it's like, as time goes on, these conspiracy theories are just becoming more and more reality. Basically, now what a conspiracy theory is, hey, this is the situation, but the government doesn't want to admit it. So now, instead of it being called the truth, it's called a conspiracy theory. But come on, think about how many conspiracy theories are out there. I mean, yeah, I said I don't buy into all of them. Some of them, though, I guess I made a caveat on myself because some of them actually just are true. It's not a theory, it's just true. Like these two that I did in here, okay, fine, they're conspiracy theories, I guess, because they haven't been confirmed, but come on, we know they're true. Anybody with a brain knows that what I'm saying is true. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's just you can't have the government admit it, because then there's all that allegations and fraud and not fraud, but what's the word? Corruption and stuff that they'd have to deal with. So maybe after George Bush passes away and stuff, maybe then they'll admit that 9/11 was an inside job. And maybe, well, I don't know about the moon, actually, because everybody that was involved in that, if it is a scam, has been long past, and they still haven't admitted, so who knows? I guess they'll never admit that one, but yeah, but like I just said about this COVID one, like that's all a conspiracy theory. Everything surrounding COVID's like a conspiracy theory. Jeez. But it's like, you know, it's not a theory, it's real. You know, they try to make it out like, oh, this was just something that came out from somebody eating a bat. Yeah, you made a weird disease just because you ate a bat. Then if in that logic, then everything new that people try should make a weird disease, right? People eat squirrel, they're fine. People eat raccoon, they're fine. People eat deer, they're fine. Not everybody eats stuff that's, you know, produced in a store, like beef and pork and all that. So what, somebody over in China ate a bat, so that just made a weird disease? I don't know. Or was it that, you know, Fauci had, like they keep saying, the gain of function? Ooh, I can make this disease, oh, it'll benefit me, sweet, I'm doing it. That is pretty screwed up, though, especially if it is fake. That's another thing, just people losing lives for nothing just because some dickbag saw gain of function, or because Bush wanted to perpetrate all his crap for the Middle East but needed an excuse how to get in there. I mean, because think about that, too. Did I say this already? How they knew everybody right away? Did I say that? Man, I don't remember. I don't think I did. But, did I? Man, I can't remember. I'll just say it again if I didn't then. This might sound stupid, that I can't remember what I just talked about, because for you listening to this, it's only been about 40 minutes ago. But for me, this is several days. I recorded the first portions of this probably a week ago, and now I'm back on my trip to the company to do the pickup. So when I made the first part, it was the drop-off. Basically, the whole entire portion of 9/11 being an inside job was my drop-off. Now the whole portion of the moon landings is my pickup. So yeah, I don't fully remember. But what I wanted to say was, back to the 9/11 conspiracy theory, something else I thought of after the fact, after I did that initial recording, was that, come September 12th, somehow we knew everybody about we knew everything about who the terrorists were. We knew how many there were, we knew their names, we somehow knew about bin Laden, and it's like, how? When the planes crashed into the buildings, like, the buildings just collapsed and turned into dust, basically. Like I said already, there was nothing left. So how did you even find bodies? And then how did you know that those bodies you found, oh, yep, that's the one that stole the plane. This guy right here. And then you know his name. He's from a different country. And, like, you know what I mean? It's not like I don't know. I guess the CIA could look that information up. But it just seems way too suspicious. It's almost like they already knew. Oh, these people are going to do this? Okay, well, we'll just let it happen. And then when the time's right, we'll pretend that we did our due diligence as the CIA, got the information, and here you go, country. And then, boom, everybody's dumb because they're scared and like, oh my God, what just happened? And they're reeling from it and they can't think straight, so they just buy it. Oh, some answers, okay. It was terrorists. They're from Afghanistan. Oh, okay. But then, speaking of Afghanistan, it's supposed to be Afghanistan, right? That's where bin Laden lives, right? In some cave. And he's got tons of body doubles and doppelgangers and blah, blah, blah. And, we got to go over there to handle him. Give him some payback for what he did to us. But then we're in Iraq. Yeah, let's just hang out in Iraq while we're at it. Yeah, we'll just kill Saddam. That's fine. We're already over here. I mean, might as well take advantage. When else are we going to come over here? Not much else to do besides look at sand and ride a camel. Might as well just kill Saddam while we're at it, Like, huh? I thought the people were all from Afghanistan. Why are you over here in Iraq? That's weird and doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's just the other part too. It's just way too weird and suspicious and convenient. Again though, like in the moment, everybody was just kind of blinded. Something happened and it's like, whoa, what happened? That was weird. And then you get the answers and you're like, oh, I feel a little bit better. But it's like when you really stop and think about it, 20 years later when you think about it, it's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Everything that you read for evidence, everything you read on everything, it's like, wait a minute. I got to get the 9/11 Commission book or whatever it was called so I can read through that. And I'm sure everything will be like, what? Wait a minute, what? I'm sure none of it will make any sense because it's just basically it's a fiction book. They hired Stephen King to write the 9/11 Commission. They didn't really. Or maybe they actually did. Who knows? And then he just used the pen name as, such and such, whoever actually wrote the thing. I don't know. But yeah. So 9/11, I think, strongly, was an inside job. And the moon landings, I don't think they happened. At least not when they did. Who knows? Maybe they never happened. Like I said, at least this... Well, actually, I don't know. You think... I was going to say maybe other countries went, but I don't know. I hear China's talking about going back to the moon, but... You never hear anything about it. Like, even if it's China, who cares? You'd think it would still be, like, a big thing. Like, you'd hear about it. Like, oh, China went to the moon and they did this. I don't know. That's the other thing, too. I just don't understand why we're going to colonize Mars. That seems kind of weird, too. Mars is far. Yeah, it's a full planet versus the moon, which is just the moon. But, like, in the grand scheme of things, if this is really happening and you're going to go colonize somewhere... Like, it makes more sense to colonize the moon. It's so much closer. If you need additional resources, boom, it's right there. You can see the planet. I can't see Mars from here. I mean, yeah, I guess with a telescope, but even then I don't know where to look exactly. If I had a telescope, I'd just be looking around like, oh, look at that star. Hey, look at that. What's that? Oh, hey, cool. What's that? But you know what I mean? The moon, you can see it's right there. Or when you're on the moon, the Earth, you can see it's right there. So why are we not colonizing, if anything, why aren't they colonizing the moon instead of Mars? That's weird. Hey, let's go somewhere super far. That makes sense. I mean, personally, I don't think we should really be colonizing any of them just because, I don't know. We're here. Like, let's just be here and call it a day. Why do we have to go everywhere else, too? And, I don't know. maybe it's not weird. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I don't know. It's like we're suited for here. Like, if you go colonize Mars, it's a lot of work. There's no air, so you'd have to, like, always wear a suit or something. You know, farming is going to be difficult at first. There's no water, so you got to figure out how to make water. It's just a lot of logistical problems to try to get this started. And for what? Just to be like, hey, we colonized Mars. Cool. Or even if they did just go to the moon. Hey, look, we colonized the moon. Like, okay, cool, I guess. But anyways, the other story I was saying about the moon is, granted, the moon doesn't have much atmosphere, but at least it's got to be a lot warmer than Mars. We're much closer to the sun than we are than Mars is. You know, plus what I hear, Mars is pretty cold on average. You know? It's like, what is it? During the day, it reaches temperatures of something cold, and then at night, it's just something ridiculously cold. It's like, we're going to see a high of -10 Celsius with a low of -100 Celsius. Like, oh, that sounds comfortable. Whew! I want to live there. I can't breathe. I need to wear a suit all the time. I can't farm anything. The weather is terrible. Oh, yeah, I want to live there. Whew! Although, oddly enough, which I don't fully understand, every picture that you get from, like, the rover or whatever they're called, those land rovers they got up there, the Curiosity and the other thing, it looks like you can still see the sun pretty well. Like, it's always bright looking on Mars, and I'm always kind of confused. Because, like, you know, the pictures from the moon, dark. Which, again, I get it. There's less atmosphere, so that's why it would be dark. But, like, Mars is always pretty normal looking. It's not like... It doesn't really give off dark vibes. So that's confusing me. Like, okay, are those actual pictures from Mars, or are you just messing with us? And you're taking pictures out in Utah and calling it Mars? I don't know. Because, it just seems awfully bright. Like, the place is cold because it's far away. But yeah, it's still just as bright as on Earth? Like, huh? Again, I can't see Mars from here with my naked eye, or maybe I can, but it looks like a tiny dot in the sky, as opposed to, let's say, the moon, which you can clearly see. It's right there. But yet, the sun's rays are I don't know. I mean, I guess proportionately, the sun is also significantly more massive. I don't know. I'm not trying to make a new theory on that one. I'm just thinking out loud, kind of confused. Anyways, yeah. I think that's all I got. I'm probably sitting at about an hour. I don't really know because I make these while I'm driving, so I don't know what the timer is on this, plus the other two. But yeah, if you actually listen to this thing, which I highly doubt you did because nobody does, thanks a bunch. And just because you listen to it, leave a like. That would actually be sick if you left a like because you made it this far, because holy crap, that means you listened to the whole thing. But yeah, thanks for checking this out with me. Thanks for listening to me, I guess. This is just a boring background that I put. And, yeah, until next time, whatever comes next, I said see ya.